How does it happen? You're coaching the crew, or printing the news, or straining till you thought you would burst. You sure got a thirst.
Sweat, brawn and hard yakka. This has always been the image of the Aussie male.
Victoria Bitter. You know how it happens.
But if you drink cans of VB to achieve this body, you're only going to get a beer gut.
Cold beer is Vic. A long, cold Vic.
This is all changing in today's society. We are now sold the chiseled abs and bulging biceps of the male fitness model. Men's fitness magazines are one of the main sellers of these fitness products, with their grinning cover models promising that you too can look like them. The Australian image of masculinity has been embodied throughout history through images such as the sheep shearer, the surf lifesaver and the Australian rules player. However, today, more and more men are being sold this image of masculinity through nutritional supplements and fitness clubs such as this 24-hour Anytime Fitness behind me. With over $1 billion in annual revenue and a steady 3% growth every year since 2010, fitness clubs such as these have seen men put down the can of VB and pick up a protein shake. Luke McDonnell is a personal trainer from Sydney's Northern Beaches. He decided to enter this world of training and fitness initially for his own health, but has since developed a passion for it.
It started about 5 years ago. I was actually working at the casino, and basically what happened to me at that time, I was smoking a lot, drinking a lot. It didn't bother me at the time, but when I was walking along one day, I suddenly started coughing, and I actually coughed up blood itself, and that actually really put me off it. Completely stopped smoking and actually joined the gym. I actually got a job at Fitness First as a sales consultant. And then from there, I started lifting weights. I actually developed a new passion and love for it because I felt good. It was a feeling I never got before.
Although Luke has changed his lifestyle for the better, there are other men out there who become obsessive about their body image. This obsession can lead to strain on relationships, their work, and sometimes lead to the use of steroids. This male obsession with body image was first explored in a book written by Harrison Pope called The Adonis Complex, explaining how men are feeling more societal pressure to have a muscular physique. This obsession with body image can affect anyone in society, ranging from the ultra-muscular bodybuilders to anxiety felt by other, less muscular men. Scott Griffiths is a PhD psychologist who treats men who suffer from muscle dysmorphia, a predominantly male condition that comes about due to these societal pressures on body image. As an academic at the University of Queensland, Scott has written extensively on the subject.
So, muscle dysmorphia is like reverse anorexia. Instead of predominantly young girls who want to look thinner and who diet and obsessively exercise to achieve that, you've got predominantly young men who want to look more muscular, more cut, and their dieting and exercise is to get bigger. So they're in the gyms hitting the weights, they're taking supplements, and if they're going to abuse a drug, it'll be steroids.
I'm hot! I'm big!
We only need to look at recent Hollywood blockbusters to see how muscular men are dominating the silver screen. Daniel Craig made waves in Casino Royale as a more modern, muscular James Bond. Although it's not just in the cinema that we see muscular men as the ideal. Advertisements such as this 2013 Calvin Klein underwear commercial are by no means few and far between on television screens and online.
There's more and more muscular men in the media, so research has shown that male models in fitness magazines, in video games, on TV, they've become both more muscular and lower in body fat. So when you're a young guy growing up and you want to figure out, am I attractive or not, there's no objective indicator or assessment for that. So you look to people in the world around you. So to the extent that you're coming out on the negative end of more comparisons, because there's just more attractive people out there that you're seeing, you grow up with poorer body esteem, and then you've got a more fertile breeding ground for muscle dysmorphia or an eating disorder to develop.
This particular Calvin Klein advertisement featuring pop star Justin Bieber achieved a huge amount of publicity, as the published image on the right was in fact a Photoshop version of the original shot on the left, making the singer appear bigger and more muscular. Themistocles Stavru is a student at the University of Technology, Sydney, and works as a personal trainer at the university gym. He admits if he had his way, he would love nothing more than to be enormously muscular.
Dream, the thing I would love to be, but I know it's completely unrealistic, is to look like a mass monster. Something like Jay Cutler or Rich Piana, just like a joke. Like Yuck, Monster, Gears of War style. Like a video game character, I don't give a shit. I would be that.
Why the mass monster? Why the...
Because you make you feel powerful, it make you feel big. You quite literally, people will look at you, you get attention.
Aziz Shavershian, or Ziz, was a Sydney bodybuilder who popularised a passion for developing muscle amongst young men in Australia. That is, until he met his untimely death at the age of 24.
A well-known Sydney bodybuilder has died after collapsing in a sauna in Thailand.
An online sensation, Ziz became a cult figure for young bodybuilders and was often seen as an inspiration for men who wanted to improve their body image.
Just because that person is very popular doing this and that, injecting steroids, does not mean it's the right way. He's doing that purely because he wants to do it. Now, I believe if someone generally looks at that and uses that as motivation to improve their physique, then by all means, that's great. But they should really assess the, situation of what they're actually doing and what is actually required and things like that.
He was a WOG. I'm a Greek background, so I can relate to him. Parents, you were also WOG, the guy drinking during the weekdays, go eating shit. You relate to him. He's like, nah, you gotta study hard. He's doing business at HSC. Don't listen to your grandparents. Eat healthy, you'll be fine. You relate to that. So you look up to him. Young as my age, I can do it. He can do it. So yeah.
So this is fascinating because he normalised men just wanting to look better for the sake of, well, I just want to look better. I want to be more attractive to women. That's it. That's all I want. So that was somewhat liberating, I think. I think that's why he caught on. But at the end of the day, his investment in wanting to look more attractive, which I fully understand, was an overinvestment. He was on steroids and a number of other substances. So the glorification of him into a cult figure is not healthy, but the destigmatization he did of just men wanting to look better, I think was great.
So how much is too much? How do we really know when men are stressing over their diet too much and becoming too obsessed with lifting weights in the gym?
If you break your diet or you miss a training session, if you spiral down and you feel a whole lot of guilt and shame and anxiety because of that, that's a real good sign you've got muscle dysmorphia. People who have a healthy relationship with the gym, they can miss a gym session and maybe they're a bit disappointed in themselves because, oh, hey, I've broken my habit, or I really wish I could have got to the gym. But they're not lying awake at night stressing, or they're not looking in the mirror saying you're a failure, like you messed up. They can deal with it in a healthy way. Guys with muscle dysmorphia, it's catastrophic. It's a big deal, a huge deal, if they break any of the routines around their body image or appearance.
On stage, standing at 195, ladies and gentlemen, from Sydney, New South Wales, a 2012 and 2013 AMB Asia Pacific Fitness Model. We welcome her back to the stage, competitor number 282. This is John.
John Feehan has competed in several fitness competitions and has seen the type of men who are enormously muscular yet still see themselves as too small and skinny. As a trainer at Sydney University Gym, he has come across the entire spectrum of men wanting to get fit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've read the muscle dysmorphia checklist before, and I think I tick a few of the boxes myself, but I guess my understanding is just someone who just wants to get massive, and like they're already bigger than most people, but they feel skinny and want to keep getting massive, and yeah, for sure I see it, and I don't think it really becomes a problem until people start I guess supplementing with things that you can't get just from over the counter from GNC. I think that's when it becomes dangerous. Now I've got a lot of friends that I don't hang out with anymore, and they used to say, "Oh, John, you're an arsehole, you don't come hang out with us at the pub anymore, you never come drinking with us," and I'll put it back on them. It's like, far out, man, you never come hang out with me in the gym, like, what's your problem? So, like, I don't see it as a problem, like, until people start taking that next step in and getting on drugs.
Steroids themselves are becoming less of a taboo topic, as there are more men who want to achieve a physique like John's, but not put in the hard work.
I've spoken to people in the past who used to be on it, and they told me about their experiences, and that, their eyes would light up when they talked about their training, but then they'd say, oh, the way it affects your mood, it's just not worth it. But yeah, from what I've seen, I don't think it's worth it for the effect on your mood and for vanity.
I've always been tempted, yes, to do steroids. I know what would happen if I did it, but it's the health concerns that I don't want to be having to deal with because of what I want to do. I don't need to be that ultra big person.
So my opinion on steroids is, I guess, if you use them for competitions, if you use them for competitions for a sport, bodybuilding, that's fine. If you use them just to look good in front of the mirror, to impress girls, impress your mates, and abuse them, then no, I don't agree with that at all, because that's an abuse of A, bodybuilding the sport, B, an abuse of your body, and C, you're just making it bad for the rest of us.
The rates of steroid use among men are in fact growing exponentially in Australia.
5 years ago, the proportion of guys going to needle exchanges to inject themselves with something, we're doing it for steroids, just 1% of users, and that was 13% last year, expected to go to 17% this year. I mean, that's a 17-fold increase in steroid use in one state in just 5 years.
So if you're putting in the hard yards in the gym and don't want to take steroids, what do you turn to for results?
The choices you make define who you are. Don't settle for less. Demand more of yourself.
The wide world of supplements, protein powders, creatine, amino acids, pre-workout formulas and the like are being sold to Australian men with the ultimate promise. Looking muscular, and of course, achieving it safely.
Supplements are fine. Guys, if a guy wants to hit the gym and take protein powder and use creatine, all those things are safe, all of them work.
But of course, it's easy to get lost in the massive choices and pseudo-scientific buzzwords that all promise to get you massive results and have you looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Dean McKillop is the area manager for the supplement store chain Nutrition Warehouse. He sees all different types of men come in every day, often confused as to what they are actually looking for in a supplement.
So we're always trying to educate on basis nutrition, trying to understand that people that supplements are supplements, they're here to supplement a good diet or supplement a good training program. I mean, we hear detox diets, we hear lemon detox diets, we hear low carb, we hear keto, we hear all of these things, the 5 and 2 day diet, Dr. Oz's diets. It doesn't matter, someone always wants to try and make a quick buck, unfortunately.
As the sale of supplements in Australia goes ever higher, so too do the regulations surrounding them.
Australian products can't even talk about particular things on labels, so they can't make claims. TGA and everybody regulates this industry now quite well, so that there isn't really any false claims or any false ideas of what you can achieve with a particular product, because they're controlled, they're tested. They have to prove what they state. There used to be a product on the market that was a weight gainer that said it put mass directly on your chest and arms. Now, it's impossible, and they can't do that in Australia. That's a great thing.
Yo, what's up guys? It's Mike Chain, sixpackshortcuts.com. So today we're gonna be talking about the fastest way for you to get ripped, but more importantly, stay ripped year-long, because it's not gonna be...
The internet has provided a new way for men to gain information on improving their health and fitness. However, as always, it can be a bit of a mixed bag.
The internet has a lot of bad things and a lot of good things too, but sometimes I could come across the bad side of it and think, oh, I'll do that because that's what that guy's doing. If this guy's taking a steroid, I better do that as well, because that's what the internet has.
Bodybuilding.com, in my opinion, is absolute garbage. Every article is just recycled the same thing. HIIT training, 4x8 training, eat a lot, don't eat a lot. It's fucking shit. Lean it up, same bullshit, Slim Shredded crap.
Sites such as Reddit have various pages where people upload and compare images and text about health, fitness, and training.
But in terms of getting online advice, I would probably go on Reddit, r/bodybuilding, r/fitness. r/fitness, you got to remember, I'm studying digital communications, so I know the other bloke behind the screen is exactly like me, probably 20, 24 years old, studying communications, probably just a gym junkie or personal trainer, wants to get some 2 cents out there. So whether or not I trust it or not, it's you got to be careful, because a lot of it is crap, like absolute garbage.
Internet's been really great for connecting guys who are unhappy with their appearance and want to feel better about themselves, so they want to get knowledge of how to eat better and train better to get a body that they're more comfortable with. That's great. It's not so good insofar as the internet is the place where guys who want to take it a step further, so use steroids, can get together and exchange tips in relative anonymity.
So after all this hard work in the gym, do members of the opposite sex always find it attractive?
No, not at all. And usually, most girls who go out with guys that bodybuilders realise that they have no life. They've got to count their macros, count their micros, sleep a certain amount of time, go in the gym 2 hours a day, and they're like, fuck this shit, and they leave.
And I guess the other thing is half the reason they're with me is because of the body, you know. So, well, no, I have had that actually. Like, where like literally the only reason girls are with me, like, like girls I've chased for a long time, but then suddenly they see a photo with me with my shirt off, and then they become interested, but then they get the shits that I spend too much time in the gym and not enough time hanging out with them, and then I'm just like, well, you know, like the reason you're with me is because of my body, but you know, you don't appreciate what it takes to get it. Bad luck.
So what do women actually think about overly muscular men? Is there any consensus as to what is attractive?
I like natural muscles over like skinnier guys, but that's just my personal taste. But yeah, there's definitely a limit where it gets too much.
I mean, obviously, like a little bit of muscle is preferred, but it depends. Like, there's a point where it just gets too much, and then it becomes unattractive. It's just when they become obsessive about it.
Sometimes they just think about going to the gym and getting bigger and bigger, and honestly I don't like it. No.
Yeah, of course. Like, being fit is definitely a plus, but like overly fit is definitely not a good thing. I just don't like it.
No, I don't like the huge, like, it's too much.
Men overestimate the amount of musculature that women want in a partner. And it's often by a large amount. We're talking 6-7 kilos of muscle. Big disconnect between what guys are thinking, oh, if I want a girlfriend, I've got to look like this, and what girls are actually thinking in terms of, I just want a guy who's toned and who looks fit. Big disconnect there.
Big muscly guys are a big turn off. They're so unattractive, especially when they wear like singlets and like those really tight shirts, and they think like Superman, but they're not.
Every girl has the same opinion, I think, on this.
No, there are some girls who are stupid and they like a man with big muscles, fake tan, makeup, done eyebrows. Seriously, the world is full of crazy people.
Most of the girls, like normal girls like us.
Yeah.
For men, the motivation behind going to the gym doesn't always come from the opposite sex, but from the experience itself.
It's always generally meeting people, because the more people you meet, the more people can help you as well, because they can always relate back to you. You know, they can go, hey, how you going? You know, how's your session going? And, you know, really give you that support. And that's what I believe that helps me personally, because you just meet people and create relationships.
Yeah, for sure. Like when I was training for the comps, everyone going to be really encouraging, and that helped get through a lot, because I mean, when you're really struggling for, like, you know, you've had a hard week of training and dieting, and you're really struggling with it, and for sure having the other guys around you in the gym help pick you up, and you know, real positive group of guys, and yeah, it for sure helps a lot, and I guess that's something that I take for granted, that I really enjoyed. I really look forward to it. Yeah, and a lot of people in the gym are like that. You know, they hate rest day. You know, you don't know what to do with yourself.
Competitor number 242, Taylor Kleinberg, ladies and gentlemen, training out of Good Life Morningside. Thank you, Taylor.
So is there anything we can do about those who are overcome by anxiety and depression when it comes to their body image? What changes can we realistically make to tackle this growing issue?
Given that the media is encouraging people to put a disproportionate amount of their self-esteem into their appearance, we need to teach young boys and young girls to diversify the sources from which they get self-esteem. So if we can get to people when they're young, normalise the fact that they want to look better, but encourage them to diversify the sources from which they feel better, we'll have a healthier population in general.
All right, gentlemen, you can make your way back to to the stage, back at the stage, thank you.